Hello, dear pond fish keeper. Yes, this video, case 314 about the diseased grass carp, albino grass carp, that was suffering and had some respiratory problems. So, ready to examine for me, the fish doctor, and we use our microscope to determine what was going on. So, let me share you my findings. What could have been the case of this grass carp with a bacterial and a parasitic gill infections? My books on fish diseases also talk about cold water fish, goldfish, koi. Particularly, the New Illustrated has a specific chapter on the most important diseases in our cold water fish or pond fish. Try to get and learn about prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of your goldfish, your pond fish. Here we see the grass carp, the Ctenopharyngodon, idella albino, with respiratory problems that come gasping for air at the surface. They're suffering. They're not normally swimming like a grass carp would do in a group, but these were, well, how can I say, gasping for air. And then we see the end of the aquarium. You can see the same thing happening here. The fish were very nervous. Something was really troubling their gills. We were very curious to see what we could find. And when we took out the gills, we found two tubercles here on this part of the gill. You can see that gill tissue is gone. So the respiratory ability of the gills is limited. At other parts, we also find, like here, a digenetic trematode. And here is a tubercle. And here looks like also a digenetic trematode. And you can see how deformed the gills are. See how reddish these other parts of the gills are. So the gills are stressed, the gills are infected with tubercles, with trematodes. Here we see another part of the gill with a tubercle, usually caused by mycobacterium, fish tuberculosis. And here we see the encapsulated metacercaria, a worm larvae. Here we can see quite few more badly damaged gills with worm larvae, the metacercaria, one tubercle. Well, you can imagine that these fish were badly suffering. So the treatment, well, the fish that has a lot of those tubercles in the gills and a lot of those metacercaria will become weak and get other problems, and usually they will get secondary bacterial infections. Infection number three. So you have first the mycobacterium, you have the metacercaria, and then three, you have other bacteria that will pop up and affect eventually the fish with tail rot, ulcers, bad organs. But some of the fish might be less infected and survive well if you provide good conditions. The origin of this problem is the breeder with poor biosecure conditions. That means there are birds, there are snails, poor water quality, poor feeding, maybe. No medication will help. This is too much advanced when it's so progressed with so many damage in the gills, and the medications usually do not reach inside the enclosed bacteria in the tubercles, and certainly not in the metacercaria, which are encapsulated, protected from medications. What you can do is improve the immunity of the fish with a functional fish food, and I could recommend our Dr. BASSLEER BIOFISH FOOD FORTE with probiotics and prebiotics that helps the immunity response of the fish. So you might do better, well, depending how advanced the infection is, but some will eventually die, unfortunately. My books, well, I explained in the beginning, can teach you lessons. Try to get. Or go to my Patreon channel to get the classes on fish diseases that you might need, on quarantining or diagnosing fish, different subjects that might interest you. So I hope this grass carp teaches you a lesson what can occur, even from a breeder that can breed diseases. Unfortunately, this happens. But the diagnosis with the microscope explain you what we could notice on this suffering grass carp gasping for air, difficult respiration. I hope this teaches you a lesson. Thank you for watching and subscribe to learn more.